What's up, folks? This is your host Elias once again back with another episode of the game preview. And today we are going to preview the Aston Villa game. First of all, I haven't seen many of you now for about a week, I guess. It's been long since we last did our stream. So today I'm back with another episode of the Step Up Preview Time, and we will be previewing the Aston Villa game tonight here, and I guess it's the daytime here for all of you in the UK. I'm pretty tired, guys. Seriously, that's one of the reasons I haven't been doing my usual some of the usual streams, and even this stream is kind of like an impromptu that I could work out with. And that's why I think my apologies if you haven't seen the updates on Insta and all that. I haven't had the chance to do all the artwork and all that. And sorry, this was a super late decided stream, and but nevertheless, as always, I'm bringing some of the best guests for all of you to discuss and ask all your questions about the upcoming games. And we have tonight with us the one and only. We have Mr. Corey Boy.
What
How
up?
are you doing, man?
I'm doing good, man. You?
I'm doing okay. Just tired. Like as you can see, I'm still in my work attire. Uh, had a really crazy week. I mean, I won't be lying. Just very hectic. Uh, yeah,
Trepidations of life and being a football fan, really, isn't it?
yeah, man. Seriously,
Work all week long to live for the weekend, as they say.
exactly, mate. Like for me, it's like, oh dear. And yeah, it's 1:30 a.m. here, and I'll be going to bed at like 2:30, and then I have to wake up at 8:30 again to go work tomorrow. Oh, it's
Oh.
that sort of a week.
It's that kind of a grind, my friend. I remember those days of working two jobs. So I'd work
Yeah, no, I
18
work
hour
one
days,
job.
come home
I
6
work
hours sleep.
one job technically, but other is like my side hustle and all that. So, but still, like the hours are crazy. But anyways, it's not about my working day. Let's talk about Spurs. By the way, Corey, introduce yourself a bit. Where are you from, first of all? And I can see you're wearing a wrong T-shirt, by the way. What
Yeah, I
T-shirt?
needed to have a quick change. I am Spurs
No worries,
first,
no worries.
everybody. There's a reason behind the Borussia shirt, but that's for another day. I'm from the south coast of England, down in the old Brighton, if anyone's heard of it. Yeah, I mean, I haven't got my own channel at the moment. I like to come on and talk football with people that have channels. So whoever we're Tottenham, whether we're Arsenal, saying that word out loud, say that 3 times like Beetlejuice. Just anything football related. I love it.
You
I'm
and
watching
talk-
all the different leagues. I support teams in different leagues, different divisions. I'm like a massive football nerd, but I'm always Spurs first.
Amen, amen to that. Uh, And I guess you are not just any Spurs fan from Brighton. You used to be a Brighton goalkeeper in the youth team.
Yeah, I was a bit of an injury problem, you know. I've actually got claims to that. I've got a knee that got separated in one tackle. But yeah, growing up as a youth team player, it's fun. You know, some of the sacrifices these players go through, you know, family is kind of like there, but friends you had to sacrifice as well, sort of things. Like your friends were going out partying, you was at the youth team training thing till like 8 p.m. at night some nights after your school day. Bless you. As well, I've got to say bless you and all that.
Thanks, mate. Thanks, mate. Yeah, I'm actually quite tired. I can feel it now. So when I'm sleepy, I start sneezing as well. By the way, guys. So if you see me sneezing, just say bless you, like Corey Boy is saying. But yeah, what do you make of our season so far, bro? What
I'll
has
be
it?
polite. It's a dumpster fire. Antonio, Jose, 2 managers that are serial winners can't have it wrong, can they?
Exactly, man.
They really can't have it wrong. It's not the managers, it's the players. The players are the ones to blame here. Really, we're holding on to players like Sanchez and Dyer and Davis. Three players that hardly got him when Poch was around. 5-6 years ago, we had a midfield that was pretty much to die for. We had Prime Dele Alli, we had Ericsson, Dembele, Modric back in the day, Bale. We had players, and then what's happened?
Exactly,
Last
man.
7 years, we've been trying to fill in the whole of Kyle Walker, for God's sake. It's just taken too long.
And it has taken us too long, and we have ended up with the likes of Emerson Royal, Jed Spence, and all that nonsense. And I mean, still we are kind of bad. I would still say that Pedro Porro is not a proven player yet, even in a way.
I still think Pedro Porro could play where Kulu is, and then we could play Kulu behind Kane. I think that's how we should go. I'm sorry about the scatty dog here, guys and
No
girls.
worries, man. No worries. Dogs
He's
are
a
all
pup,
right.
so
Kids are all right as step up Spurs. No worries. No worries. They are all like our families, anyways. Although I'm not a big dog lover, but yeah, they are like families. Uh, but anyways, Corey boy, how long have you been a Spurs fan since your birth?
since I could walk, it's a family done deal in my family. You know, it's one of those you're basically born with a Spurs shirt put on your back. So I didn't have a choice in the team. But
Do
back
you have any of
then,
your?
I would
Do you have
always
any?
travel up with my granddad and my uncle, my cousins, to go to the White Hart Lane. You know, memories.
I see. Do you have any of those Spurs shirts as well? Like you as a baby wearing those Spurs shirts?
I do, but my mum's got the pictures, and I won't ever put them online. So, they're quite embarrassing.
I see. But describe your how was your journey like being a Spurs fan as a youngster? I guess you would have gone to the games at the Lane as well, and then now the modern era, so-called modern era, the ENIC, where you have the big stadium, as we were just now looking at Eugene's channel. Uh, Tell me a bit more about your journey being a Spurs fan, bro.
It's is a trial by fire in our family. I mean, there's a few splinter cells in our family that like support Arsenal and Chelsea. Even a couple of Newcastle fans thrown in there, but good 90% of my family are Tottenham. I was about to say Arsenal and Tottenham supporters. But I grew up with I idolised players like Peter Schmeichel. So secretly, I was a secret Peter Schmeichel
Not
fan
bad.
growing up.
I'm a big fan of
Loved
both
him.
Michaels.
But traveling to the old White Hart Lane with your granddad, your cousin, and your uncle, those were the days you lived for. So you'd get up early, have your breakfast at your nan and granddad's, jump on the train to London, travel about. Oh, I still remember the last time we won something. Me and my family, we went to Wembley, so we won the League Cup. Woodgate towered over the Chelsea defence and slammed in that header. That was probably one of the happiest times as a kid. Now, for the last 15, 16 years under Levy, we've done nothing.
Exactly,
And it's not just
man.
Levy. We've got a billionaire that acts like a millionaire owner in Lewis. We've got the guy in the middle. So it's like we've got a bloke that owns us with two yes men.
The guy in the middle, we want to show the middle finger at.
Enoch.
Yep, exactly.
He's the stooge in charge of Levy. Levy's in charge of the club. That's the way I look at it.
Exactly, man. Like, I mean, the both of them are just dumb.
All three of them are parasites and blights on the club. They really are. We've done nothing. We've brought. All right, they say we haven't spent money on players. We have, but we've spent it on the wrong players, recruiting the wrong players. We've not got a recruitment team or a director of football that knows what he's doing. We brought in basically a criminal for a season. So things that could go wrong at our club.
What are you talking about, bro? He was the Don. According to some channels, he was like the Don. Haven't you seen across the town? You got Irish Hotspur. They used to say, "Oh, Partici is the Don Partici."
I didn't rate him, especially with what he's been charged with before in the past. Why are we doing this to ourselves, shooting ourselves again in the foot? We're bringing in the wrong people. And we brought in coaching staff with Conte, and the only one that's staying around is the set piece manager or set piece coach. And
set piece coach, yeah, he's still around, I think.
Apparently, he's got over 500 or plus different plays. And when I'm watching a match, I'm like, so you've got 500 special plays in your little book. It's like playing American football. You've got your XOs out everywhere. So there you go. I'm an American football fan, played American football as well. But you've got your XOs laid out. This is where the play's going. You follow the O's, But I don't see any of that going in any of the games that we play. It feels like we just lump the ball and hope Kane gets on the end of it.
Exactly, man. Since you have been a Spurs fan for quite long, I don't know. I'm not gonna ask you how long. How long?
33 years now, since I was 5, so I'm 38.
And I guess, what was like your favorite memory in all those 33 years?
Seeing the rise of Bale.
Seeing
Modric come in and then him leave to go off and win things like Bale. Every player that we seem to have sold off to go to Madrid or elsewhere has actually achieved. But yet, why have we not been able to keep hold of these players like Modric and Bale? Because at the time we was apparently a smaller club. And the frustration of being a Tottenham fan, seeing your key assets being sold in, season out, hurts a little. But then we went 2 seasons without signing anyone under Poch, and it just got a little bit frustrating to see that the team at that time was stale. Modric, the players were falling out with each other. Modric was gone, Bale was going, even though we offered him a new contract, and it's just seeing the team implode the way it is. So we go over a 7-year period. We had Eriksen, Dele, Dembele. We had a strong defensive line. We had a keeper in his prime, and Hugo not making as many mistakes as what he did.
Yeah.
And then you fast forward 7 years, we've got a goalkeeper dropping it in the net or breaking his arm at Brighton last season, to a midfield that doesn't know what it's doing. And the only saving grace of our midfield is now injured till November. So it's like, you can't really fathom what's going on in our midfield right now. Winks going out on loan, can't wait for his contract to be gone. Endon Burgers, as I call him, he's going to be coming back. Another player that we don't want.
With a Serie A title, by the way, not empty-handed.
Yeah, I know he's won a Serie A title, but are Napoli going to spend the 30 million? I know there's supposed to be an obligation to buy if they made European football, but if that's there or not, I don't know.
Yeah, no, I think that if they make European football, it's an option. It's not an obligation still. But apparently, like through the sources, like Napoli are kind of happy with him actually, to extend his contract, to have his contract signed with them.
It would be nice to see, but we've got players like the Celso that could come back. I still rate the Celso. He's a very good creative player. He's not had the right system for him.
I kind of agree with that. Yeah,
we've got players coming back that I think under the right manager could actually fill in a hole for us. We've got problems at left back. We've got Serge Reguilon coming back. He spent most of the season out injured and only spent about 85 minutes on the pitch playing for Atletico. I mean, the guy has been injured the whole year.
Yeah,
the guy needs
I read Reggie kind of highly as well. Like I think he's a decent player.
We kept it. We got rid of him and kept the social experiment in Sessegnon. The guy can't play football.
Exactly, man.
Then we go and get Perisic, a 34-year-old that hasn't got the legs to play at left back. He can attack, but he can't defend. We've got Royale. I'm starting to warm up the Royale now after this season. I really am. And then we go and get Porro when we got Jed Spence out. If it is true and he was a club signing, that means the next manager that comes in, leaves, is going to say you're going to have to start playing him. So again, we're going to be condescending to the managers, what players are going to be played with.
Exactly. Yeah, man. This Spurs drama just never ends. But lately,
the drama has never ended for 22 years. We're brought out by 3 guys from Sugar. One cup in 22 years under their
stewardship.
Stewardship, yeah, that's the word I was trying to get to. Under the fact of him getting puppy bitten quite a lot. And it's just every season the same excuse. We sack a manager because he speaks his mind. Like I said earlier, Joe saying Conte can't have it wrong, can they? If these players aren't applying themselves properly, if the players aren't applying themselves properly with these top quality coaches coming in, then what hope has a Julian Nagelsmann got coming in? You know, he's an elite level manager, but we've got running with the manager bargain bins for players, you know. Instead of spending the extra 4 or 5 million on a top quality player, we're going to spend 20, 30 million on 3 players that we don't know of. Then they end up being toilet. Endon Bele, what, he played in France? Great. Whoop-de-doo. Anyone can look good in the French league.
Yep.
Unless you're applying your trade in the Premier League, the Spanish league, or the German league, I look at it, you're not really getting anywhere, are you?
Yep. Let's get on to now the recent happenings.
Okay.
So, Corey boy, recently we have had Mason taking over as a manager from Stellini after that whole drama at Newcastle. He has now played, I think, 3 games. Is it 3? Oh, 3
this will be his 4th.
Yeah, this will be his 4th. Yeah. And from his first game, I think we saw that it was kind of like okay. Then you have Liverpool. Okay, still lost towards the end, but via some bad,
We lost
bad.
because of Lucas Moura. I'm not putting that one on Mason. We lost that because of Lucas Moura, and I'm glad the guy's
In
going.
a way, yeah,
One good
like
night in Holland in 5-6 years
a
that he
bit of
finished.
Lucas Moura, some bad decisions from the referee, that sort of a thing, and then you have this Palace game where you have 1 goal, 1-0 win against Palace. What do you make of Mason so far? Like,
He's
is
not a
Mason just
manager.
being
He's a
Mason, or
coach. He's a coach at best. I wouldn't rate him as a manager. He's only there because Stellini had to take over from Conte, and Stellini needed someone that can speak fluent English. Really, that's the way I look at it. Mason was a good player, a good servant to Tottenham, but how is he managing our team? This should have been sorted out straight away after Conte. If they were serious about getting rid of Conte, they should have lined up someone after sacking Conte, not leaving it 3-4 months down the road.
I kind of agree. I completely agree with you there as well. Like, it's just the whole situation is kind of shitty, in my opinion. And like the other thing is, like, where do you think the club is headed? Like, from here, having Mason in charge and all that drama. Uh, do you think that we are trying to, like, evaluate Mason here, or are we? Is it
He
just
should
is
not
it
be
just is it
evaluated for
just
the
because?
job, seriously. If anyone thinks that he should be manager for us next season, then they're deluded. We'll end up losing players like Son, Kane, Kulu. They won't want to play under someone that doesn't know what he's really doing. That's the way I
I
look at it.
completely agree with you. I completely agree with you. Sorry, guys, I need to switch off my video for a while. I'm here. Yeah, but
I'll switch mine off
how do
quickly.
how do you summarize how do you summarize the rest of the season for us? Uh, in terms of the whole performance, like the way we started, we were doing well in our transfers, according to some people. We bought we started business early on, like, as usual. We don't do the summer business very early. We started business very early in the market and all that. We saw some signings like Perisic, and it got us excited. And then you start going into the season. The Conte ball suddenly was kind of like disliked by the whole fan base. Then you see the XG drop to, like, lower, to
Lower than
in a
one.
certain level. What do you make of the whole season so far for Spurs?
Start the season, I'll put it this way. I said on another gentleman's channel that I will stick to this. It was a 2 out of 10 transfer market. We didn't get rid of the players that we should have got rid of and stuck them out on loan. Instead, there were players that needed to be shipped off as quick as anything. Then the season started. It looked okay, but we were sticking players with like round pegs and square holes. It just wasn't working with some of them. And then obviously we've spent 60 million on Richarlison, and his return so far is 3 goals, which is pathetic. It's worked out 20 million a goal so far. The guy's not scored more than 13 league goals in any season. So you're telling me if that's a like replacement for Kane? No, it's not.
Exactly. That's kind of like bollocks, right? That was out there in the media agenda and all that. Like, Levy's buying that as like a long-term replacement for Kane and all that, because he plays as a striker for Brazil. He can play as a striker here. Blah 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 blah. And smoke mirrors, I guess, again.
We were papering over the cracks, really. We needed 2 centre-backs. Eric Dyer still stealing 11, a living 10 seasons into us. The guy's making too much money for being a substandard player. Needed a right back to cover for Emerson. Getting rid of Doherty was stupid the way we did it, screwing up his contract. But yet you've got players that aren't willing to perform, and yet they still have got contracts. It's mind-boggling. What do we do with Ndombele next season? Do we have a manager
Exactly
come
that.
and look at him, or do we just terminate his contract?
I think
You got
terminate his contract, in
Winks
my
out.
opinion.
Winks on loan on Sampdoria. They've been relegated, but Winks didn't do too badly. But he's just not good enough in the Premier League.
Let him stay in Sampdoria even if they get relegated. That's his
Yeah.
standard.
And then you've obviously got Dane Scarlett and Parrott. There was so much hope 3 years ago on Parrott. I was one of Parrott's biggest fans back then. I used to love playing Football Manager and slapping Troy Parrott in with with Kane, getting him as the tutor sort of thing, and then just seeing him dominate. But then what do we do from that? We haven't got the playing staff, really. I'm going to turn my camera off quick because I'm going to just take the dog out.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I mean, this season has been that form of a roller coaster ride, where it has been a little bit like a hyper start. You're hyped up due to certain things that the club did, certain decisions that they made. They were made to look good, but overall, then you realize that no, those decisions were not really that great when you dive deep into it. Like, first of all, I mean, I remember I was kind of like happy, I would say, or decently. I was excited about Richarlison signing and some other signings that we made towards the beginning of the season. Never really thought that yeah we will be that bad in the middle of the season, but that's what always happens with us Tottenham fans. We get excited, and then we realize that there's reality in the world as well. Uh, the name of the Tottenham reality is called Daniel Levy and Enoch, and then things got bad again in the middle of the season and stuff like that. But I would like to ask you one thing. Do you think that we would have been doing this badly, like how we are right now? We are now at, I think, sixth in the table right now. Do you think if Antonio Conte would have stayed, we would have maintained our position at third or fourth or along those standings rather than coming down to sixth? What do you make of that?
Bit of hindsight really needing that one. I want to say maybe we would have probably done better under Conte, but the players that weren't applying themselves under Conte were just going to throw their toys out the pram till the end of the season, to be honest with you. So, in hindsight, possibly we could have been doing better. But at the end of the day, you can't really say what could have happened differently if we'd kept him.
Yeah, I mean, you can't predict the future, but definitely he had that some form of a consistency still there, uh, experience there definitely as well. And in my opinion, I think we would have been higher than where we are right now because some decisions that we made early on in the managerial transitions and all that has clearly not worked out for us in my opinion. Uh,
Yeah, it's not really worked out too well. Also, under the fact of the transfers, he really didn't get too much of a say in it, to be honest. I still feel like he was made the manager, but it was Paratici pulling the strings on the transfers, to be honest with you. And we brought in a few duds, to be honest with you, with Perisic. He can't defend. All he can do is kind of cross a ball. As much as I want to say I like Richarlison, 60 million's too much for the return that he's had so far. And then Pedro Porro, that just dragged on too long throughout January. The Pedro Porro deal just took too long. If you were serious about this player, you should have made the approach for him in the World Cup. Not leave it till the end of January and give the guy a few months to try and bed himself in and then try and start performing. It's not fair on the guy.
yeah, exactly, man. Like in my opinion, it really depends on how the player chemistry and the managerial chemistry would have been as well. But I think still we would have been better than where we are right now. At least having a full team, full manager that has been there with you in the preseason and all that, and then you have a full team of full coaching team that you have been working with constantly. I guess it gives you a bit more stability. But the kind of decisions that Levy made at the end of the season has been really bad for us. Like I think if Levy wanted to even sack, realistically he should have done it much earlier, not at the business end of the season where you are like 1 month or 2 months away from the business end, and then you sack a manager and then you don't replace it with another class manager. You try to appoint a similar system, a manager who is like the previous managers understudy. Like it just doesn't make sense to me. But let me know your thoughts, bro.
Sacking Conte that quickly, it come with the comments he was making about the team. But like I've stated earlier, you can't have two world-class managers come in, point their problems at the team, tell the truth, and then get sacked. We sacked Jose a week before a cup final, all because he wouldn't focus on the league game against Southampton, so he was sacked. So it just waffles my mind. And then we go out and sign a substandard manager at the start of last season in Nuno. He gets sacked 10 games into a season. We bring in Conte. He revives our season. We finish fourth over Arsenal. Fantastic. To do what he did with the players then, and they responded to Conte. Then we fast forward to this season. We've got players that were heavily for Conte and what he was doing, and then players bitching and moaning all the time.
Yeah, let me ask you this thing as well. Do you think that as footballers lately, the amount of money and about the amount of fame that recently the media and all that, the deals, the sponsorships and all that, lately it has made players kind of like bigger, and it has made that player culture a bit more hyped up, especially I don't know about Tottenham as well. Since you are an ex-youth player as well, I don't know how things were like in your time and all that. Do you think that nowadays players decide the destiny of the club, or is it in a way they decide that they decide certain things, or their mentality kind of like gives you the direction for the club? What do you make of that?
Well, as a youth team player, I was blessed to have some very great coaches, and then obviously fast track to being as a goalkeeper. I was fast track to specialist training to certain different different things placed about in London. So I would spend a good 4 or 5 days a week after school training with the youth team. Then on an off day, I'd do 1 day a week just outside in a place called Worthing, which is only about an hour's drive from where I live, at the specialist goalkeeper training, and then back to the team and match day on a Saturday or a Sunday. So my youth development was literally focused on me being the best goalkeeper I could have possibly been. But nowadays, players I think have way too much
Distractions, I would
clout.
say.
I'd say that I think the players have too much clout over the managers, and I'm sorry, it shouldn't be the managers that get the sacked. If a manager has a team under him in any normal job, the manager gets rid of the weaker aspects of the team. So, working retail, say I was a supervisor in a shop a few years back before the pandemic kicked in. We had people that would come in and perform daily, properly, 100%, gave it their all. Then we'd have other staff members come in and just do bare basics and just try and skate by, and then they would get sacked. Players nowadays are on too much money for what they do. I still think that it should be a hobby, not a job. It should be, if you can play and do a full-time job, that's how it should be. Back in the days of Georgie Best, the guy was picking up, 60 quid a week playing for Man United. You look at that now, you put that into any kind of bracket of money now, the guy's has been underpaid after retirement. Too much money in this sport, it's ruined and diluted what other teams can really progress and do. So like a team like Brighton, for instance, my hometown team, they go out and find these
Look at this one.
great
Look at this one
players.
as well. Aston Villa announced a 200 million transfer budget for Unai Emery for the summer. There you go.
200 million. Oh my God! Like, these guys have got the money and they know what they need to spend it on. If we were given 150 million last year, and what do we do? Spend about 80% of that
And we
stuff.
didn't
The rest
even
of it
spend
wait till
that
January.
wisely.
Yeah, didn't even spend it that wisely. And then,
Yeah.
like I've said earlier, we've got a billionaire owner that acts like a millionaire and sits on his bloody yacht all the time. Oh, I play in a football team. Come on my yacht and have a whiskey or a brandy. Sorry, Lewis, mate. Stick your hand in your pocket. I know you're 86 years old, but this has gone on too long now. 16 years since we last won something. It's the longest goal drought that longest trophy drought this club has been on in its entirety of its existence, and it's just pathetic now.
Yeah, I mean it, like that's another thing that yeah, we don't understand sometimes, and there are always arguments around this whole thing, that whether it's the players mentality, whether it's the kind of managers we bring in. Managers definitely have some form of an influence over the club, but they are definitely not the ones who can make every single decision for the club. They need some form of support as well, and then we always go about this discussion as well. But like how you point out, that it has to be a proper system, at least. Like, let's just say, take the example of Brighton. I think you and I both know, and we have, I think, had this discussion before in some of the chats as well. The Brighton where they are right now, and Brighton from where they were and where they have come right now, it hasn't been necessarily all about money, but a good system, a good investment into different aspects of the club, your recruitment, your structure of youth, your structure of academy, and all that combining together has brought Brighton where they are right now. But for
Coming up
Spurs,
from the lower depths of the leagues, it
no
took
more depth in the
10
league.
years, and
Yeah, and all those sort of things. Appointing the right manager and then appointing and supporting that manager with the right type of players that they need. But where do you think Spurs have went wrong? Is it that when we sacked Poch, we wanted to desperately win trophies, and then Levy just bring in Mourinho, and then he bring in just any other thing like, okay, Mourinho can work out his magic stick and all that, and maybe win something for us. Do you think it was that, or is it just that Spurs has a very sentimental sort of thing that, yeah, we want to work on the current set of players and make them the winners rather than looking ahead? What do you make out of it? Like, what's the direction for this club in your opinion?
Direction of this club, Levy, Enoch, and Lewis all need to wake up, smell the roses, and realise what's going on around them. You can't just build a nice multi-million-pound stadium and sell off AC/DC tickets and then not put that money into the investment in the club. Proper investment needs to be placed in. We need proper investment in the recruitment development side of things. We've got a youth setup that is severely under par. We've got a couple of good youth players, but not getting anywhere. We've got Elf Devine still sitting in the youth team. The guy is an incredible player. You've got Elfie Donington, a good young centre-back that is not getting a chance. And you keep putting absolute plebs like Eric Dyer in the centre of your defence. Every time I see Dyer is on the team sheet, I turn the TV off and I go and watch something else. I've gotten that bad with seeing Eric Dyer on the first team sheet. That's
For me, the case is Sanchez, but yeah, we'll have that argument another day. There's a comment here. Creative defensive midfielder, 20-year-old Alex Scott is set for Spurs at 25 million as he said goodbye to Bristol fans last game of the season. What do you think about this one, Alex Scott? Have you had a look at him, bro?
I've heard some good things of him, but not enough to really see what he's worth. 25 million for a good young player. He needs an experienced player around him. He could be the same sort of thing of what we've already got at the club at the moment. We need players like Maddison, players that have gone in and done it. Those kind of players to come in and make it a creative midfield. Heck, if Leicester go down, go and get Tielemans as well, because Tielemans is a great midfielder.
Yeah, if Leicester goes down, Southampton goes down, what do you make about Ward-Prowse? Would you take him?
Ward-Prowse. Oh, he's such a great, talented player. How he's not in the England side is beyond me. It's because of he's playing for Southampton.
No, I think he is in England side, but he just doesn't start. Like, he's one of the subs usually.
Or, but you never see him come on and replace someone, do you? You don't really see him play.
But same is the case with James Maddison as well, right?
If we got James Maddison and Ward-Prowse and put him next to Bentancur, Jesus, our midfield is starting to look good.
Definitely, because Bentancur is more like a central mid as well. James Ward-Prowse also is a center defensive mid, I'll say, who is just good with, like, I think his free kicks and stuff like that. And then you put
free kicks, corners, crossing, eye for a pass. The guy has it all. Then Maddison is that creative outlet. So you could literally put Bentancur sitting in front of the defence, marshalling the midfield between the semicircle and the defence, bringing the ball forward to that, laying it off to a Madison or to Ward-Prowse.
I don't know about this one. Do you think he is better than Skip and Højbjerg? Like, I haven't heard of the guy that much at the moment.
Like Alex I said, Scott. I don't know much of Alex Scott. I know of him, but I haven't seen much of him play. But then, didn't we go out and sign Jude Bellingham's younger brother for the youth team? Can't we give him a few shouts or ask his brother to come and join us?
Jude Bellingham coming to us would be a massive one. Apparently, he's going to Real Madrid. He's not even going to Liverpool or City. He's going to Real Madrid. Have you heard the news?
Yeah, I've heard that. Their midfield is going to be ridiculous. They got the two young French guys as well, and they'll also have Bellingham because Modric's on his last legs. Shit, come and give him back a season at Tottenham. I'd let him come back. I'm sure we definitely signed his younger brother Joe Bellingham in January. I'm quite sure of it.
I think so.
We signed him for an undisclosed fee. I think it was like 2 million. And then we signed the Irish goalkeeper for the youth team as well as a striker. And then we were linked to Brighton's young Irish striker.
I don't know what his name is. Yeah, Joe Bellingham is now Sorry, Joe Bellingham is a player. No, he's not our player. He's a Birmingham City player. We signed another Bellingham guy. I don't think he's Jude Bellingham's brother.
All right, I was under the belief that we'd
Yeah,
signed Joe Bellingham.
We did sign one guy. His last name was Bellingham, but it's not related to Jude Bellingham actually.
Oh, okay, I thought we'd had signed him. Okay, I'm completely wrong there. I thought we'd signed
Yeah,
him.
no worries, no worries. I know we haven't signed Joe Bellingham yet. Joe Bellingham is still with Birmingham City, but the other player that I'm quite interested in, since Corey Boy, you know quite a lot about the goalkeepers and all that. The other day I was having a chat with on the Tottenham away chat group as well. Uh, what do you make of the guy Michael Cooper from Plymouth? Have you watched him play?
I heard, like again, I've heard of him, but lower league football I haven't really been watching much of. I should be, being a football fan, but my secret sort of like not fantasy, my secret pleasure at the moment is watching Wrexham play at the same time. I know I shouldn't be looking at the Welsh team, but it's because of the lore of what's going on up there. But
Yeah,
young
like Plymouth
players,
have recently won the Division 1, and then that guy was like the player of the season. Last season he won the Golden Glove in Division 1 as well. And is Michael Cooper is a goalkeeper, by the way. What's the point, FC? He's a goalkeeper that I was having this discussion, I think, in one of the chat groups. Like, let's say if we sign someone like Michael Cooper, he plays for Plymouth right now, and the guy is a decent goalkeeper. Like, in my opinion, a great young
decent.
prospect.
But then are we putting our hopes on a 2021-year-old coming in?
He's about 23, I think.
Oh, he's 23. But then you've got a player playing in the Belgian league, Van der Voort, in goal. Guy is 6'7", excellent shot stopper, great with his feet. So most goalkeepers nowadays have to be that ball playing. I was about to say ball playing defender. God, that's too much Football Manager. Has to be a ball playing goalkeeper. So he kind of needs to be the sweeper keeper / being able to pass.
Not sure which one was the point FC you're talking about. Yeah, specify. I think I'll look into it as well. Which one is that?
I think he's Van der Voort. He plays in the Belgium league. 21 years old. He's 6'7", agile as hell, quick, great shot stopper, great with his feet. I'm impressed by him. There's also the other French goalkeeper. God, I'm trying to remember his name now. Plays in France. Lafont. He's great. And then you've got, if Leeds go down, I wouldn't mind signing Meselier from Leeds and saying, right, okay, keep Hugo around for a season and get him training in.
Yep. I mean, Hugo is now currently getting offers from Saudi Arabia as well. I don't know if any of you have seen the news about that.
I've seen that. That league is, I know this is strange to be saying this, the Saudi Arabia league is going to go down the path of the Chinese league. They'll sign all these stars in, the infrastructure will start collapsing around them, and that'll be it. Bless you, by the way.
Yeah, sorry.
I find it, I just find it weird that players are off to Saudi now. A few years ago, it was off to China. These leagues are going to collapse in on themselves. Like, it's been proven, these players go to these leagues, and about 5-6 years down the line, these leagues are folded. So I don't understand it. And then the amount of money they get thrown at them.
Not only that, I think Lionel Messi has been having links with another Saudi team as well. So, like, what's happening, man? Seriously, is Saudi league going to be like the next big thing? Perhaps we'll have a chat with somebody who watched Saudi league.
I don't think it is. I don't think the Saudi league, like I
said, but now if you see, football is all about money, and those guys are like big money makers. The amount of money that they can give in the league, definitely, why not?
Yeah, but then again, you're going to, going to the back sticks of nowhere to play in an easy division because they're on their way out. It's like what was going on in China, wasn't it? These players were off to the trots to go and get extra money in their back burners, and then 6 years later, it's out. You don't hear anything about players wanting to go to China now.
Fair play. Yeah, but going into that, since we were on the topic of Hugo Lloris, like, let's say if Lloris were to go, who do you think we would sign, or who would you want us to see in as a potential replacement for Lloris?
We need to do our proper due diligence on a goalkeeper that's going to come straight in, because Fraser Forster isn't going to be around, is he? He was there for
Yeah,
the quote of
he's
the
kind of old
European.
as well. Like, I mean, in one more year or so, he would be gone as well,
Yeah, I mean,
probably.
Fraser Forster, not a bad goalkeeper, but he's not what we need. I'm going to say this is going to sound controversial. I still think he's a little bit better than Hugo. He has more command of his box. He knows what he's doing. Hugo doesn't really use his voice, and you're supposed to be the club captain.
Yeah, possible. Uh, I want the Aston Villa keeper Martinez. Yeah, that's a good one as well. But do you think Martinez might be at another club, like some big club might sign him next season, given his World Cup heroics and all that? Uh, do you see Martinez going to a bigger
Shithousery,
top
you can go hand
top
in
six
hand with it.
shithousery? And I mean, definitely some big clubs will be after him in the summer.
I
In my
don't want a goalkeeper that's a shithouse. I want my goal. I'm an old-fashioned goalkeeper. I want my goalkeeper to be in the goal, not being fucking sent off. Mind my language. I don't want my goalkeeper and that potential having an argument with a referee and you see a red card come out of his pocket. I don't mind it if you're out of field like Richarlison getting away with it, but as a goalkeeper, the
yeah,
temperament
it's a
of a
risk, right?
goalkeeper.
Kind of.
Yeah, I mean, as a kid, I'll always state that the hardest position training for or playing for is to be a goalkeeper, and they always say it takes someone psychotic to play in goal. But then when you look at Martinez, he is a fantastic goalkeeper, yes, but I don't want a goalkeeper that has the potential to get sent off.
Yeah, man. Like Foster would do well behind a solid defense. I'm not too sure about that one. But yeah, I mean, I like the point that you brought up about a goalkeeper being sent off as well. There's a saying that if a goalkeeper gets sent off, you're basically not just 10 men on 10 men. You are technically on 9 men because you have to send in a goalkeeper who doesn't normally play with your team. One that, and then you have to take off one field player and send in there. So it's basically like a 9 man team, not a 10 man team even if your goalkeeper gets sent off.
Yeah.
But now going into the whole discussion, Amy Martinez, any other names you can think of as a potential replacement for Lloris in the coming season?
I'm thinking off the top of my head. I mean, 3 good names I come up with. There are some hot prospects out there, but if there's clubs wanting to get rid of, there's that young Italian goalkeeper. He's 21, 22 now. I can't remember what his name
Which
is.
club he plays for? The Milan one? Is it the Milan goalkeeper or the
The Milan goalkeeper.
AC Milan goalkeeper, right?
Yeah, he's pretty good. I don't know if Donnarumma gets on the pitch down at PSG. That'd be the dream signing for me. Again, I don't really watch the French league. The reason why I'm a massive German league supporter is one of the reasons why I got this shirt on. So when we had students come over years ago when I was still living at home with my parents, we had a student come over from Germany, Jona. He came over with all this like stuff from Borussia Dortmund, and I was like, "Hang on, what's your surname?" He goes, "Well, my name's Jona Killian." So I was like, "Oh, I play Football Manager. Is your brother Luca Killian by any chance?" "Oh, yeah, my older brother. He plays for Borussia.
Nice.
He's youth team, blah blah blah." And since then, like our families have become really close. And I'm always watching his brother now playing at FC Clon. Okay, I know my shirt here is out of date, but I still got a shirt. But I've always been a Borussia fan as well because I don't like watching the other leagues and then going for like your Barcelonas or your Real Madrids. I'd rather pick somewhere like so obviously out there that you're not going to do well, but at least I support them.
Yeah. By the way, guys, it's 7 or 8 of you who are watching here right now. If you haven't already, please hit the subscribe button and the like button as well. We are on 13 likes, but I saw that many different of you are watching here. Yeah, going into the Villa game, what are your general feelings going into this game? It's an away game. Unai Emery, who has been doing quite well against us, not us, against some of the top teams as well this season. 6-pointer in a way. They're also battling for the Europa League spot, in my opinion. What do you make of it? Like, what would be the general feeling? What are the general feelings that you have going into this particular Aston Villa game?
As long as we control the first 10, 15 minutes of the match and not concede 6 in under 25 minutes like we did at Newcastle, conceding the way we have done the last few matches, I want a performance that's going to show that we can attack. But I can't. This is going to be a tight one for me. I'm going to say it's going to be 2-1 Spurs. But Villa are very strong at the moment, even though they've come off the back of a few bad results. But then we've come off the back of a few bad results as well, and we're still above them. But then we have to watch out for the dark horse in Brighton because they've got 2 games in hand. So going forward from that, I still think it'll be Brighton, Tottenham, Villa in that order, in that top part, because Liverpool aren't going to... I don't see Liverpool dropping points. They've started to wake up. And then season after, the coefficient of the new... I'm going to call it the secret Super League. 36 teams in there now.
I don't know how many.
I think it's 36 teams to the European Champions League. It's just how that's been ushered in because the Super League couldn't get put over the line. I think it's their sort of like watered down version of it. And then you've got the coefficient. So after next season, it'll be 1st to 5th that gets into Champions League spots. Then 6th down to wherever for Europa. And then is it going to go from 7th to 10th for the Conference League?
Yeah. That's another thing as well, the whole thing. But before we go into that, for the Villa game, what do you think is going to be the biggest struggle for Spurs, and what are the areas do you think we can capitalize against Villa? Like, what do you think is their weakness?
Villa's weakness, if you put enough pressure on Villa, they seem to fold quick. But then you could say that about our defence. We've now got to put Eric Dyer back in because Clement Longley has dislocated.
Apparently, Langley is fit.
Is he fit now?
Yeah, he's fit. It was not a major injury, so he would be in contention for the squad, actually, according to what I read recently.
Oh, well, obviously, I think Clement Longley played pretty decently before his injury. Then as soon as we substitute Eric Dyer, I literally turn that match off. As soon as Eric Dyer touches a blade of grass on any pitch, I get disinterested because I know the guy's a calamity at the back. A mistake waiting to happen. A back pass that doesn't make it to the goalkeeper, a foul that gets him booked, and then a goal leads up from that. But then who do you play over Dyer? Sanchez, he's just as bad. Davis. Our defence isn't what it was from 6 years ago when we had Toby Alderweireld, Jan Vertonghen. It's taken us 7 years to replace Kyle Walker. We had
but the other day,
Danny Rose,
Did you like the experiment of Emerson Royal as a centre back the other day?
It was different. I'll give it that. I don't think he can play centre back too well, but I think it's better than playing Eric Dyer there. Shit, I'd even put Stevie Wonder at the back and play Eric Dyer.
Yeah, man. I mean, seriously, Eric Dyer has just been so bad. Like, you can play anybody there, and he will play. That person will outshine Eric Dyer.
I mean, like,
but
I said,
Villa side as well. Do you think the first half is kind of crucial in terms of the Villa side? Like, let's say if you were to score like 1 goal or 2 goals in the first half, because Unai Emery sometimes can like play like a very deep backline as well, or with the long passes and all that kind of stuff. Do you think that the first half would be crucial? Like, for us, if we really want to get ahead of Unai Emery, we need to score first?
We need to score first, but then we struggle to break down teams in the low press. So, again, we need to be able to pick up the ball a little bit away from goal before attacking, so we can try and break the low press.
Yeah, that would be another thing. The low press could be another thing that can cause us a bit of damage.
If we go 4-2-3-1, like I said, I wouldn't mind seeing Pedro Porro out on the right, Kulu behind Kane, with Sonny out on the left. I just don't see Richarlison offering much for us for the rest of the season. We've spent 60 million on the guy for 3 goals, and as much as he's a class player and shit elsery and all that sort of sense of the matter of everything, it's not a great return, is it? And like I said earlier, the guy's only managed 13 goals on average per season in the Premier League.
Yeah. I mean, on a similar note, by the way, what's the point of saying Aston Villa want to sign Juventus centre forward Vlahovic? In my opinion, Vlahovic is a way, way, way better centre forward than Richarlison is. I've looked at that guy. If Vlahovic were to play in a team like City or in a team like, let's say, even Liverpool, I think the guy would be scoring as many goals as what Erling Haaland is doing. He's a great centre forward, in my opinion.
Oh, yeah.
He has a good pace, good physicality. In like, let's just say,
touch.
let's just say I think if let's say Kane were to go, good first touch is another one. If Kane were to go and we sign someone like Madison, I would say that sign Vlahovic if Kane were to go. Sign Vlahovic and sign Madison. That kind of brings up a good combo there. And I would take Vlahovic over Richarlison anytime.
Mm.
Like that guy is a proper striker.
I mean, before the Bosco deal was thinking going to Leipzig now at the start of next season. If he wasn't going there, I would have just said go for sorry, not Bosco, Sesko. He's
Actually,
a
we
good
were
young
we
player
were
as
kind
well.
of close to signing Vlahovic as well at one point. It's just that guy wanted to go to Juve back in the last January, and that's why we went for Richarlison because
Yeah,
Arsenal and we were battling for that for Vlahovic's deal, and we were kind of close apparently. But Juve got him and all that, and actually the whole Paratici thing was also involved in that. Like Paratici was kind of like clearing the records. He gave the money to Juve so Juve can buy Vlahovic. And then we ended up with, I mean, Kulo and Bentancur, which was not that bad. But ultimately, later on, we ended up with Richarlison, which kind of feels like, oh man, we could have gotten Vlahovic.
But then it's Levy behind the scenes not wanting to spend that extra 3-4 million, if I remember
Exactly.
correctly. So again, another player slipped through. It's like what come out on the. Did you see the TalkSport video from last week about they brought in a former Tottenham director of football / scout?
Yep.
And
But
over
he was
the
more the
years, they
scout
had
run.
players in the building, but because Levy didn't want to pull the trigger on them, we didn't sign them.
That's
So, like,
bad.
we go back to we could have had Mane instead of him going to Liverpool. So, when you actually hear him say that Tottenham had Mane in the building,
Wow.
but because Daniel Levy didn't want to spend the extra 5-6 million on a player like Mane, he ends up at Liverpool. Again, screwed over by Daniel Levy, but not
Luis
take that
Diaz
risk.
deal was another one. I think something along those lines as well.
Yeah, Luis Diaz as well. There was also when Jose was in charge when that.
No, Luis
Portuguese
Diaz
player-
was under Conte. Luis Diaz deal crashed under Conte, but
Yeah.
again, it was Liverpool who hijacked the deal. Like it happens to us all the time. Bruno Fernandes.
Bruno Fernandes, another case in point. I was getting there with Bruno as well. It's like a case of an extra 10 million.
Bruno Fernandes.
We won't
Milan
go back to
Skriniar.
the guy that we got in, was about to sign and he went off to Chelsea. We won't talk about Willian.
I don't know, not Willian. Chelsea. Which was the guy who went to Chelsea? Angolo. Was it Angolo?
N'Golo Conte as well, yeah. Another
Yeah,
player that
N'Golo Conte
Tottenham
was
had
another
in
one.
on the building, but the trigger wasn't pulled on him. So we've been linked with all these great young players, all these great
Victor
players.
Moses,
like
I think. Was it Victor Moses as well? I think we were linked with him at one point.
Victor Moses, the greatest overachiever in football, has one great season under Conte, and everybody started loving him. I don't get it.
Yeah. By the way, Audio Artisan is saying Villa will start fast, a lot of pace in their attack. Do you think so? Or typical Unai
Villa
Emery
have
tactic?
pace, but it's whether they can get it there quick enough. We need our midfield to turn up. We need to play either the 4-2-3-1 or play three in the midfield. It's simple. It's
let's look through some of the comments here. Dyer Davis here with 9 years and now first team defender of offensive crime is Keane San Hugo. Exactly, man. I'd take Vlahovic now and sell Richarlison yesterday. Even I would do that. My first priority in the summer is two outstanding, big, strong, tall centre backs like a Botman or a Torres. Exactly. I think this one I was reading on it. The likely ones could be Ivan and Dika because he's a free transfer, and then Emerick Laporte looks to be like City is trying to sell him for about.
I'll take the 4.5. The guy is a solid defender.
Yeah, because Laporte's one, the price tag that they are putting up on him is like 20-30 million, something like that. If you can get Laporte and.
But then are City willing to sell to a divisional rival? I don't think they would be.
Not sure. This is another one. What do you guys think of the Irish backup keeper at Liverpool? Kelleher? Are you talking about Kelleher?
Kelleher? He's a good number 2, and that's all he'll ever be, is a good number 2. If you're looking to sign a goalkeeper now, it has to be someone either... They say goalkeepers have reached their peak at between 30 and 34 years old, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, Kelleher is.
We don't want to be looking at someone old. We want to be looking at someone in the 23
he's 24.
to 28 bracket.
24. He's 24 actually. Keller is 24.
Keller
But
is
then again,
24.
he is still. It can
But then
work
I
out.
would take Southampton's goalkeeper, Bazunu, if we're talking about the Irish
Yeah, Bazuno is
goalkeepers.
another one. Yeah, Bazuno is
Bazunu
another one.
is raw talent. He's 20, 21 now. The guy
Yeah,
is he's
he
a very
is.
talented goalkeeper, but he lacks a little bit of concentration sometimes, but something that can be drilled out of you in a top club like Tottenham if Hugo stays around to take him under his wing. But then you could
Yeah,
have Hugo as your number 2 and have Bazunu as your number 1.
Bazuno is 21. So I think in my opinion now, we need to change. We need to get a replacement for Lloris in summer, and then by January next year, we would need to get another proven goalkeeper as well to replace Foster. Because Foster one is not going to last you, I think, any more time. Uh, Another one, I think somebody's saying Kelvin Bessie at Ajax. Have you seen this centre back before? Bro?
Bessie, well, funnily enough, I've actually got an Ajax save at Football Manager. He looks like a great quality player as well, so
Yeah, like actually centre backs, the ones that I rate are definitely beyond us. I mean, Guardiol. I don't know where is Guardiol going. Is he going to Real Madrid in summer?
Guardiola will probably end up at Madrid. But if we're looking at players that have proven their worth as defenders at the moment, I'm going to be cheekier and say take Lewis Dunk to Tottenham.
Why
Another
not?
solid, good young player.
Why not? There's another centre back as well. Yes, and is Shane Duffy a centre back or is he a left
Duffy's a
back?
centre back, but he's terrible.
I think Shane
I
Duffy
get
is
to.
not that. No, he's not that bad. Like if you compare Shane Duffy with Langley, I think Shane Duffy is kind of better.
There's also a youngster at Brighton. I can't remember his name now. There's a youngster at Brighton that's got captaining England under 21s, and he's absolutely fantastic. How he's not getting in. Not the guy that's on loan from Chelsea, but a guy that's actually come for our youth ranks.
Yeah.
I
But
can't remember his name now. It's
but
going to
there are
irritate
kind
me.
of there are few center back options available like in the summer as well, like the clubs that you can actually go and sign, or even certain players that you can just get on free, like Ndika. Why not go for Ndika all the way? Do you see Ndika coming to Spurs by any chance?
Yeah, well, Ndika is another quite proven youngster as well in a very, I'd say, basic league. But Ndika is a great raw talent. But then who have we got teaching him? We need a player to play alongside Remoro. We need that Vidic or
Yeah,
that
because
Rio.
Ndika is a left-sided center back, right?
Yeah, he's left-sided, but at the same time, we need someone. I've been saying this for months now. We need a Rio or a Vidic kind mould next to Remoro to calm him down. Because Remoro,
Yeah.
as much as they say he's this world-class centre-back, he's looking quite average this season. We
Actually, in
need
that case, Milan Skriniar would have been the best guy for us. Like
Skriniar would have been great, but Levy again didn't pull his finger on the trigger to sign him, and now he's going off to PSG. Is it?
yeah, he's going out as PSG because he's a free agent in summer as well. So it depends where he goes. Who knows? He might come to Tottenham somehow. Sometimes Spurs may get like the most unlikely free transfer of the window, but I think PSG is after him. Actually, I
Yeah, I
read.
mean, with what's the point? I've seen Botman again was another prime example of Daniel Levy not pulling his finger out his arse and signing him. Botman was there. We were linked to him for God knows how long. We scouted him. The green light was going, I think, for him. And then all of a sudden goes off to Newcastle. But then Newcastle can offer more wages than what we can because they're basically backed by a country.
And Dika wants Arsenal, I think.
Ndika will probably go to Arsenal then.
Probably he would. Botman was the perfect signing for. Yeah, in a way, Fabian Schär would have been good as well for that part, but we didn't pull the triggers on those signings, and now they are doing well at their current clubs. Why would they come to us when we are
But
shit?
I've been one of the biggest fans of Chile for years. Because, like I said, I do watch other leagues, and Chile for me stuck out in the French league so well, and now he's at Chelsea.
Yeah, but I mean, one player that I wanted at Spurs, which I'm kind of glad that we didn't get at Spurs, is Ashley Koulibaly. He has not turned out at Chelsea, in my opinion.
No, he left the Italian league, came over and looked average.
He
So
was really average, in my opinion. Like I thank God, like really, thank goodness that we didn't sign him. The other one was that I was kind of interested in is that guy Bremer, Gleison Bremer. Is he with Juve right now? Bremer, is he with Juve?
I think he's with Juve. He's a very good player, but I think it was something that was letting him down in the transfer fee, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, we were linked with him as well. Bremer could have been a solid centre back there as well. But if Juve doesn't, but Juve would, I think, qualify for the Champions League. If let's say Juve were to, yeah, they are at second place, so they'll definitely qualify for the Champions League. Uh, if Juve's scandal would have worked out and all that, but I think the perfect time to sign these centre backs was when we had managers like Jose or Conte, who are kind of familiar with Italian football and all that, and they have links there as well. Paratici, I think that was the perfect time, but that time Levy was not willing to pay the money. Bastoni could have come to us, but even there, Levy was kind of stingy and all that. But it makes sense. I think we're kind of
we can be linked with all these players all he wants, but until we get a manager and director of football in with a clear direction, what's the point of signing these players? So you get these players in, and so we get Lagersman. We get
I think that if Nagelsmann, then probably we'll explore the German market a bit more, definitely.
Yes, we need the director of football in with Nagelsmann as well. But then are we going to ruin Nagelsmann's reputation because Daniel Levy won't spend the money properly?
But even Nagelsmann, the kind of names that the link with Nagelsmann to be the footballing director, they are like those in the active in the German market, German people like this. I think Ralf Rangnick is one of those. The other guy, the Johannes guy, is another one.
I mean, I'll take Ralf Rangnick as a director of football because he's actually pretty solid at the job.
And he has managed in Premier League. He understands the aspect there as well.
A former player of the season. Yeah. I mean, Bremer is a very good player, but then we've still got deadwood that needs to be sold before we sign these players in. What's the point of signing more players in to add to a bigger pool of players that aren't doing anything? It's like Chelsea. They have 36 first-team players, which at least 12 to 14 of those need to be sold for them to balance up the books after spending, nearly 600 million in January. 600 million in January and only just managed to stay up in the Premier League.
Yeah, so I mean, definitely, it's going to be tough. I mean, this coming window would be really tough in my opinion for Spurs. Like if Spurs were to sign some decent players, it would be tough, man. Seriously, the situation that Spurs are in, Europa League and all that, it's going to be one of those challenging times. But bro, before we end the stream, I just wanted to take your score predictions for Villa game. What do you make of the Villa game this coming?
It's going to be tight. It'll be a tight game. 2-1, 1-1.
Villa, 2-1 Villa.
No, 2-1 Spurs.
2-1 Spurs. I'll go for a 2-2 draw.
I would take a win. I'll take a draw, just not a loss. But I'm going to say
I'll go for a 2-2 draw. I'll go for a 2-2 draw. And I think, in my opinion, one goal from Kane and one goal from Son with probably a Porro assist.
Everyone's loving the Porro assist machine. I love it as well.
Yeah, I love it. I definitely love it. But big up, guys. I think it was quite a number of you who were there with us throughout the stream. First of all, let me say a big thanks to What's the Point FC, Audio Artisan. We had, who else we had here? Arisam. We had Dan Davenport. We have Lily White Lane. And as me, I was there as well in the chats. Big up to every single one of you for lighting up the chats and doing all the good stuff, clicking the likes and subscribes.
Like and subscribe to the channel, guys.
Yeah, man. And I'll be doing some more of the stuff with the Corey Boy. Let me know, guys, how do you find Corey Boy at first time at Step Up Spurs? He will be, he's kind of like the charming guy as well. I'll be having him a bit more as well, given his knowledge of English football and all that. And whenever we discuss the players from Europe, definitely, Corey Boy, you are the man.
I don't just know about English football, so an American football fan, and funnily enough, ice hockey. So I watch all different sports.
I don't do ice hockey. I don't do ice hockey streams. I was thinking of doing some badminton streams and starting another channel because I used to play badminton actually.
I tried ice hockey once when we still had an ice rink down in Brighton. Loved it.
I played cricket, not ice hockey. Ice hockey never. I've played cricket. I've played hockey, the normal field hockey. Yes, ice hockey never.
Field hockey's violent.
Field hockey is violent. I've played a bit of squash, but and badminton. Most of it has been badminton, and yeah, lately football as well. But yeah, I'll
Uh,
see if I will start another channel and do some of my stuff, like some other things that I like other than Spurs and football, and then we'll do some general football streams. But I think the this coming week I'll be back with the Step Up Showtime with my friend Jason. I have to confirm with him what time, but it would probably be around UK time, around 12 a.m. on a Saturday night, and it will be 7 a.m. in the morning for me and 9 a.m. for all those of you guys in Australia. So make sure you guys hit the like and subscribe and click the bell icon to be notified when I go live next. And as always, Levy out. Stay strong, stay Spurs, and come on.
come on, you Spurs. Leanick, Evie, Lewis out.